Hey, what is going on YouTube? Ron here. We are back on the Mac, boys. Unfortunately, there was a few lag spikes and audio issues in this video, so we had to dub over the audio. And I'm gonna go ahead and apologize for the lag spikes. It has to be Twitch. I don't think it's my internet, but regardless of that, bear with me for this video because this replay was too good to not put up. We're in the Prinz Heinrich, the Tier 6 German battle cruisers, the newest line to come to Legends. And I honestly have a lot of fun with I'm having a lot of fun with these ships, but they are not the strongest. And I know, as you can see, a little bit of the lag spikes start to, appear on screen there. Um, they're not the strongest of ships, but in the right hands, they can be an absolute bruiser of a ship. The maneuverability is good. The guns are good. We have torpedoes. We have secondaries. It's a fun overall package, but in Legends, with the limited number of damage cons and the weaker armor, I don't think a lot of people are going to have that much success with them just because, some people either don't know how to angle or things like that. And you're definitely going to have to angle in these ships, and that will definitely, be a lot more present at tier 7 and tier 8 with only a 27 millimeter bow. Now we are running hide, and as always, stats, commander guide, and armor viewer at the end of this video to kind of talk about the ship. But in the meantime, I want to talk more so about my play, positioning, and different things like that. We see the York here, and the reload on the tier 6 is 30 seconds, where the tier 7 is 22. So at the tier 7 and tier 8, you're going to get those a little bit better reload. But we held our shot on the York here because half of those shells would have hit the island. And he's sailing broadside, so we would have gotten one, but the Gorky pops up here, and as you guys know, those are made out of explodium. And well, yeah, good night. Thanks for playing. Appreciate the medals there. GG. Now we are not angled the best here, but what my thought process was, our destroyer is doing his job spotting, throwing some zoning torps, and yeah, we're just going to kind of angle into position here. We have two cruisers behind that island and another battleship kind of coming our way. So we have the strong side here as well as carrier support. Carrier kind of did his job spotting and different things like that. We try to get a lob shot on the York, the Gorky, not the Gorky, the York here, and but he turned into the island, so we could not lob those. In the meantime, we got a Scharnhorst spotted by either our carrier or the destroyer, and we're going to lob that as more lag spikes appear. I don't know why, but this replay is just kind of plagued with those little glitches. So I'm sorry about that, guys. The quality's not going to be the best here, but like I said, for the most part of this video, it's pretty clear. So anyway, we got a broadside Scharnhorst here, and if you were to angle, I would consider switching to HE, but the AP just does it smacks really well on this thing. So I'm kind of backing in here, and a lot of people, especially the trolls and a few people the other night, just don't understand that you don't want to aimlessly push in with the battleship because number one, you're a huge target. Now, the German battlecruisers do have some pretty good concealment, especially with concealment mod now available for all ships, tier 6 and up, battleships especially. So I would use that for sure, and we'll show you guys those modification slots at the end, along with the stats and things like that. But using that concealment is going to net you good results, and also pushing aimlessly is not going to net you the best results. You have to read the map. You cannot just assume that every game you have a secondary battleship with torpedoes you can YOLO in. And I know some people like to think that they're God's gift to warship, but you really need to think about your map positioning. So keep that in mind, and I will try and point out those things as we go. Now, obviously, we spawn on this side, so we're playing our side, but our team also wants to play on this side as well. As you can see, we have kind of handled our side. We've yeeted the Gorky, the Scharnhorst is almost dead, and the Mackinson is retreating. So our team needs to realize that, as I don't really see these Atkatsuki torps who we torp through the gap, as we almost turn into them, but we kind of stop there and reposition as we finish off the Scharnhorst. There's also no such thing as kill stealing here. Getting those guns off the board, especially because he's going in and out of concealment, is a bonus. If he is able to get away, he could position behind an island or get some heals off and be a threat to us later on in the game. So again, no such thing as kill stealing. Get guns off the board. Now, if you wait to hold a shot till somebody gets a guy down to 1,000 health, then yeah, you're a not so nice person. But anyway, that Mackinson repositioned, and as you can see, our destroyer died at A, and they are getting the A cap. So once they get that A cap, they will have a 3-to-1 cap advantage. it doesn't matter that we have the ship advantage if they have the cap advantage this early in the game, which is why it is so important to play the objectives. And I really enjoy domination a lot better than capture the base, because you don't have, when you have that moronic teammate who dies in the first 10 seconds, you don't have to rely on getting, out killing the enemy. This is a game of strategy, this isn't team deathmatch in Call of Duty, as the Des Moines player who got 900 XP, but he said he did better than us because he had 3 kills, wants to think. A lot of people just don't understand those mechanics, and while getting damage and tanking damage is your job in a battleship, you need to realize, creating crossfires, supporting your teammates to get the capture points is much more valuable. Now, getting caps in a battleship was a big debate on the Facebook pages a while ago, and if you can get one safely, get it. But if you're being actively farmed, don't sit in a cap, which will reset the cap for, I think, 80 seconds with 2 people in there. The other ship will get the cap, but it will take almost twice as long, or it's not twice as long, but yeah, you guys get what I'm saying. So in the meantime, talking about positioning, I noticed that all of our ships want to go through that channel right there, which is, number one, a terrible idea for torpedoes, as our Skane finds out later in the game. And I can't really, that looked like an awful situation because he rounds that corner and it looked like he was torping for one of the battleships. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and shoot this Mackinson. And due to the lack of guns on the, overall guns, you only have 8 guns and 4 on the front there. You're not going to be getting the best groupings or dispersions or whatever you want to call that as we get another awful lag spike. I'm sorry about those guys, but anyway, the T-61 is there as that Skana goes down. Poor guy. I would be so mad because that's just an unfortunate torp, but we have a nice damage total here as well, by the way. So we position ourselves to go back, and people are, again, the lack of understanding would be like, well, why are you not pushing with your team? Well, because we have a Akatsuki back there, a T-61 in the middle, and a Bayern coming around on our behind. So we want to really focus on that. And I'm not sure how or why this Atlanta, like I said, he does his job and he gets a decent XP score, but for him to not get this Akatsuki, I'm not sure what happened, but also for a carrier to sail in a straight line. But anyway, we've got this Bayern in front of us, and we switched to HE as they were angled and at range, and you're not going to be doing too much with 380s, especially in other battleships. Now, you can overmatch most armor with the 380s, but like we said, with the 2 guns, you're not going to be getting the most accurate salvos. The accuracy of the ships is definitely better than the heavy battleships, if you will, especially the Gneisenau at tier 6. But for the reasons of him putting out his multiple fires, we went ahead and switched to HE. Now, in the meantime, we popped our Hydro a little bit earlier, and we rounded this corner as the last known position for that T-61 was on the inside here. And we did open up a little bit of angle, and we do end up paying for it here against this Bayern. Be mindful of your angles. You do not have the best armor as we get chunked. That was the salvo that I was talking about. We get chunked there. We went ahead and launched our torps. Now, launching your torps at that range is not maybe the best play, but what it does is it kind of forces the Bayern to make a move. Either he continues on or he turns in, at which point we can get secondaries, and that decreases his gun angle, so he cannot get all guns on target on us, and we can out DPM him with torps, guns, and secondaries. But we end up getting him with that torp, so it's a win-win. In the meantime, we have 2 destroyers and a carrier left, and if you notice, we're up on ships, but we're down on points. So we need to, number one, we need to get into the cap, but also we need to not die. Like I said, I'm not sure how this Atlanta is not radared, spotted, or detected, or killed this Akatsuki, but still alive, so we need to be cautious of that. In the meantime, I'm trying to take position of carriers. I know I'm pointing out in the video when I'm doing this that the T-61 is over there, so we're going to angle towards him while running away from the ATCAT. And asking for help from our Atlanta here, who cheekily says denied. But I see that the torpedo planes are coming from the right there, so I know that the carrier is over there, and I'm thinking, okay, let's get B, and then we'll just move into A. I don't want to sit out here and constantly take torps from destroyers, because that's just how you lose. We do have a Hydro, but it is on cooldown, so we obviously can't use that. So looking to get the cap here, and then all of a sudden, Mr. Ryoju decides that he wants to he wants to get A and pops up in alpha there. So this is a huge win. Carriers are 100 or 110 point swing. And unfortunately, we had the HE loaded in case a DD did pop up. But we go ahead and throw that at him and then switch to the AP and get the high caliber there. So a good little damage total already at tier 5 and 6. But we're switching to the AP, hoping to get another Dev Strike while our secondaries do some work. Now, unfortunately, the secondaries do not have that much pen, so you're only going to be really penning destroyers, battleship superstructure, and obviously, carriers at this tier because tier 7 carriers have much better armor. But I don't know where he lost all this health from, but he appears around the corner with a lot less health, and we actually shoot a salvo and get, 5? Yeah, 5 over pens here, and the back gun, because it takes a little bit longer to get on target, actually gets us the kill. So yeah, there is kill number 4. This T61 has played it smart, and because this Akatsuki popped up, we're going to go ahead and turn around, as well as having an Atlanta in the area. We're going to turn around and try and get this Akatsuki for the Kraken. Now, in the meantime, we are giving broadside to the T61, but hopefully this Atlanta or other cruiser has Hydro running, so we can avoid taking torpedoes from our starboard side. But yeah, we're also spotted here, and we don't know. I'm pretty sure it's the AdCat, but it could be the T from behind. So we just want to keep notion of that. As I kind of in the game, I was like, yeah, you don't want to give me support, so take that. You got to have fun with it sometimes. Now, I'm also going to continue this turn because if it is the Akatsuki, which I think it is, as more glitching on the screen occurs, we don't want to take torps. We don't want to take a full broadside of torps, and there they come. So we'll turn hard in, and we'll slow down while getting the cap. Now, my instinct and my bloodlust wants me to go full speed ahead, but we want to secure the caps. We've gotten the cap advantage at A, and we're taking the points now, especially killing their carrier, swinging those points in our direction. But we just want to get the cap. It's a smart play. To avoid getting the cap there is just kind of a selfish play. As we see the D cap start to tick, so that tells us that the T61 has made its way all the way back around. I probably should have noticed that a bit sooner, but I did not. You can tell by some cases, you can tell where a destroyer is by the direction of which their torps are coming from. But we're still detected here, and it could be through the channel gap at D, but I'm guessing that it is the AtCat out there just waiting for his torps to reload. And I actually think he pops up here on the right side. I'm not sure if that was his concealment or the Atlanta radar. I don't think it's the Atlanta radar, but we get a cheeky shot off here as I think I incur another lag spike. Yeah. I remember that one in the game because I was like, man, if that's the reason I missed the Kraken, I'm going to be so upset. But anyway, we turn because while I don't want to give the kill to the Atlanta, if you both go around the rock at the same time, number one, you could take torps, and number two, you're decreasing your distance or the coverage of getting this destroyer. But we pick up the AtCat on Hydro here, and thank goodness he turned, but I actually cheese these shells a little high. As we know, shells land short, so sometimes I'll hit stuff high, but we actually, the secondaries for once hit and give us the close quarters expert and the Kraken here. As the game is slowly ticking out. So that is the replay, guys, and we're gonna go ahead and just move on into the stats portion of the game. Like I said, not a huge damage total, but we damaged multiple ships, a few citadels there, and really kind of showed everything that the ship is capable of. Capping, tanking damage. Now we did get slapped by that Bayern pretty well, so you won't be getting into too many brawling situations if you're opening up angle as we did. But first on the board with 2,500 experience, and like I said, the Atlanta played well. Maybe not how I would have played it, but GG's to him, and also GG's to that T61. 2K on a loss is 3K on a win, so he played that really well, but his team sort of let him down. And also, I was on this team, subtle brag. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and move into the ship's stats here and show you guys a few of those. I think I actually show the commander first, but we are running Hyde there, as you can see, with Flammable Cannoneer, Porcupine, Marksmanship, and Master Mechanic, as well as Fight Fire with Fire. There are the modifications. Actually, I kind of forget where I go at the end of this, but we talk about the armor. So the 25 millimeter nose can bow tank 14 inches and below. I think, right? So what is that? 14.3 times 25? Yeah, I think that's 357. So 14-inch guns you're safe from, but 15 inches on, as the Bayern showed, can overmatch you. Now you do have a good icebreaker there at the bottom, and like I said, I think I go back and actually fully look at the armor, but yeah. So we compare the all of the tier sixes. I don't think any tier six has a bow over 25, which is kind of one of those balancing factors for 15-inch guns, and tier seven, which is why tier seven battleships appear so much stronger, and why the Musashi is a poor choice. But yeah, and the tier seven Zeton has that 27 that we talked about. So the Zeton is just kind of an ugly looking ship, isn't it? It's got that giant superstructured thing in the front, but yeah. Do we go over the stats here? I can't remember. My brain was all over the place, but no, we're going over our build. Okay, here's our build. Yeah, as we mentioned, Flammable Cannoneer, Porcupine, Marksmanship, and Master Mechanic. I think Master Mechanic is truly the best choice. You could throw around different builds with Hyde and a few things. Hyde wouldn't be my first choice for another ship, but with a limited number of damage cons, you really want that extra heal as well. And we didn't mention this earlier, but we're running a little bit of a mixed build between accuracy, as you can see with Scharnhorst and von Hipper as our inspirations, helping with dispersion there. And, as the Dev Strike on the Gorky showed, I think it does help a little bit. You can run a full secondary build, but guys, you're always shooting your main guns. You're not always shooting your secondaries or having them go off. You don't manually target them. But regardless of that, we'll look into the ship stats here. 380s with a 17-1 firing range and the 30-second reload. The turret traverse is a little rough, but that can be managed, with good positioning. Now you'll see the secondaries here. We have 150s and 105s with an 8.5 firing range and a 3-second reload, or an 8-second reload on the 105 or the 150s. The 105s I think have 20 millimeters of pen, maybe 25. I'm not exactly sure. 1/4 would be 25. 1/5 would be 20-ish. So you're not going to be penning too much with those 105s, but on destroyers and, like we said, superstructures and lightly armored carriers, obviously, as we smacked the Ryoju and got a few damages off of him. So just keep in mind that even though you have secondaries, as we mentioned with the builds, they're not always effective. As we look at the torpedoes, the AA, and the maneuverability. I don't think I talked about the maneuverability in game, but it is much better than most battleships. 15-second rudder, a small turning circle. Now you do lose a little bit of that in top speed. 29 knots there is not blazing, but it's also not slow. So pretty decent maneuverability, all things considered. Detectability, as we mentioned in the game, concealment is a bonus at 12.6 there. And I don't remember where I go. Like I said, when I was doing this video live, I was kind of scatterbrained and all over the place. But I think I move on to the armor viewer here and show you guys that full armor. We have that 25 millimeter nose and a good icebreaker, which can defend against the front citadels. Now, I don't know if that Bayern chunked. I don't think it was a citadel, but you can be citadel through the front, but it would almost have to be the perfect shot through that top nose, plunging into the citadel here. So I take away all parts of the armor here, but it has a fairly safe, protected citadel, but you do not have that turtleback armor, as we can see here. So it's at the waterline, but plunging fire with that casemate. It does not have the best casemate, and it's a tier 6. So it'll go right through the top there and plunge into your citadel. So, you don't want to be playing these things at range, that's for sure, as a lot of my backlining teammates like to go. So here I'm talking about getting citadel through the front. That icebreaker, that's what they call it on the bottom there, will protect you from some front citadel shots from everything except for the Musashi, because you have a 30 millimeter nose there, which can be Musashi and Georgia. Georgia are the only two ships that you would potentially face at tier 7 there. Now Musashi's tier 8, but you could be up tiered into that. So Georgia's really the only thing you'd have to worry about overmatching that nose directly. Now the top plates of the armor and the stern there, 25, will get absolutely smacked. But yeah, that is the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I kind of screw around here on the live replay, but that's everything I wanted to say. A fun ship, a good ship, but maybe not the most effective overall as we look at the overview here. I think Wargaming could have done a better job maybe giving them uh, the longer range torps, and maybe 4 or 5 damage cons. We do not have a specific German commander to spec like the Russians, but hopefully they give us that in the future. And yeah, that's the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that. AA run out. Peace.